The intended use of this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the host and guests independently, and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Updog Challenge Incorporated, its sponsors, or any other partnered organizations. Updog Challenge Incorporated does not guarantee the accuracy or reliability of any opinions expressed. In no way should the information provided during the Sweet Spot and Updog podcast be considered veterinary, medical, legal, or professional advice. At all times, the advice of your personal professional should supersede any information provided, derived, or inferred from listening to this podcast.
Ready, set, go.
Welcome to the Sweet Spot, an Updog podcast. I'm Andrea Morissette.
And I am Jack Bailey, and we are your hosts today. We do not have a guest today because today's topic is, Dre?
What's up in the world of disc dogging for the month of October? And I have mostly lost my voice because what's been going up is Skyhounds World Championships. So pardon my hoarse voice today. We have been doing a lot of yelling and cheering for all of our friends, but we are going to be talking about what's up in the world of disc dogging for the month of October.
Yeah, and by the way, just as a side note, thank you for your yelling while I was on the field. If you guys don't do that, when you're out there playing freestyle and maybe stuff isn't going exactly right, and you hear somebody from the sidelines shout out something to you to like get going, you're doing
Come
all right,
on, Jack,
whatever.
you gotta finish strong.
it definitely helps out. It definitely gives you some added motivation to get back on it and hit the next sequence or whatever. So definitely cheer for your friends. All right, so let's jump right into it, Dre. We've got October is always a super busy month for Updog events because we're kind of winding down in the north with things are starting to get cooler. So October, November is kind of a lot of times the last opportunity for clubs to have an event. Plus Halloween themed events like, with costumes and the performance round, like that always seems to happen. People practicing for the freestyle crown and stuff like that. So October is super busy. We got a bunch of them to talk to you about. If we miss you this time and we don't mention you, it might be because we mentioned you on the last podcast in September because you had your stuff out early. Also, again, sometimes the algorithm misses us and we don't see your stuff. So if you ever have an event that you want us to mention on the What Up podcast, please just message Dre or I, and we'll add it to our list of things to talk about. So, Dre, why don't you get going here? What do we got going on?
First one is is one of my favorite events that we host each year that Jack and I have a lot of fun putting together, and it's Freestyle Crown. So Freestyle Crown happens in the month of October from October 1st through October 31st. Registration should be opening this week, I think. And I'll get with Jess about the details about that. But registration should be opening because submissions are starting in about a week. So Freestyle Crown is 2 rounds of freestyle. It's an online virtual freestyle competition. For anybody anywhere around the world, you need freestyle points for UpDiff before the end of the year. There's a great chance to get 2 rounds of UpDiff freestyle, and also it will be judged by World Finals judges. So Jack and I are going to be judging that one as well, and you will get feedback on your rounds. We're going to have criterion and performance, so it's a great opportunity to get some points in for the end of the year, get some World Finals judge feedback before the end of the year. And it's Halloween themed. We have great sponsors, great prizes. Really excited.
And the performance round is going to be live streamed.
Yeah, we're gonna do that again. Yeah.
Which is going to be cool. And we're doing it on a Sunday, so you guys can like flip back and forth between Freestyle Crown and NFL football. If you're an NFL fan, you can just put that up on your screen, like on mute. And you can watch freestyle and you can keep track of your scores.
Yeah, you're gonna have to install you'll have a TV and then a TV, like 2 TVs behind you, and one's gonna have football going and one's gonna have your freestyle live stream on your Sundays. That'd be cool.
That sounds really exactly. That sounds like a nice, relaxing Sunday afternoon.
That's what I'd want to do. That's for sure. So look out for Freestyle Crown. Great way to get points for the end of the year. And it's Halloween themed and it has great prizes. So even if you already have your points, you're going to want the prizes. It's a pretty competitive event. Most of our top players are in this one. So if you want to gauge where you are lining up in the competition world right now for Updog, this is a great way to do it.
All
What's the next
right.
one, Mac?
Next one, again, towards the end of the year here, we've got some state championships going on. So, coming up October 17th through the 19th, the Ohio State Championships, put
That's
on
all
by
right.
Doggone It. It's an excellent organization. They do a great job of their events. A lot of cool like after event like hangouts that they do too to like get people just chatting and having fun with each other after the event as well. So check that out. Ohio State Championships, October 17th through the 19th.
All right. The next one is Tales of the Cryptid, which is October 11th. Bike Club and Freestyle, and that's in Ontario. That's Ty's Club, I think.
Hmm.
So heads up, there's freestyle at that event also. That's on October 11th. It's called Tales of the Cryptid. It's gonna be Bike Club and Freestyle in Ontario. And get with Ty for more information on that one.
Awesome. That sounds like a good time. Freestyle is being had.
Yep.
Next one is Happy Disc Giving. It's October 11th through the 13th, so it's 3 days. The first day is actually going to be a freestyle and skills seminar. I'm not sure who's putting that on, but you could probably reach out. This is taking place in Castlegar, British Columbia. And Sunday, Monday then is an updog trial. So that's cool. So Saturday, a little bit of like a short freestyle and skills seminar.
Pretty cool,
And
yeah.
then Sunday, Monday, an updog trial. So check that out. Happy Disc Giving. For any of these that you want more information, check out the our Updog Challenge discussion page. And you can find the banners that they put up with more info on the event.
The next one is fun. Zoom in Zombies Up Haunt Challenge. That's really fun. Zoom in Zombies, October 18th and 19th, and that's in Batavia, New York. So that's up in the Northeast US. Zoom in Zombies. That
All
sounds like a
right.
fun
And I think we've mentioned this one the last two
event.
times. We're mentioning it one more time, guys. I don't even know if there's any more slots available, but you should check it out. Check out Roe and his club in Decula, Georgia, October 4th and 5th for the K-pop Demon Hunters event at the Bright Side. They put on great events. I think we haven't totally figured out the logistics, but Kat and I are going to try to make Saturday. Kat and I actually
Of the
watch
October
K-pop
event?
Demon Hunters, Dre.
Of the October event?
Yeah,
I was actually thinking that I might go. Just randomly pop in. Is there freestyle at that one?
I don't know, but we can only go Saturday, so Saturday's our only option to go. I'm not sure if there's freestyle, but Kat and I did watch the K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah.
I am not like a big animated movie fan, but it
Uh,
wasn't bad at all. Like
was it?
at the beginning, I'm like, how are they going to make this like theme work? But
Yeah.
it actually did work pretty good. The K-pop music was catchy. I love the Soda Pop song. Um, you guys should check it out if you haven't already checked it out. And I think it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. So
Well, now I want to go even more because you guys are going. So we'll have to get with them and see if we can crash their event this weekend in October. So that's in Tacoola, Georgia. That's my closest club now to where I am. That one and the Ashton's Club up in Nashville are my two closest clubs. So I'll be pinging between those two, dropping in.
until you get your own club
Yeah,
going.
we're working on that this winter. We're going to be getting something going here in Chattanooga. All right, next one. Birthday themed Updog at McHenry Disc Dogs, which is up in Illinois. They're going to be playing level two games. That's super fun. So level two games, birthday themed Updog, McHenry Disc Dogs in Illinois. Level two games, October 4th and 5th, so this weekend as well. So if you're in the Midwest and you don't want to come all the way down to Kula for that event, you have one going on in Illinois this weekend as well. That's
And it's
awesome.
not just level two games. They're playing level one too, but like sometimes if you like playing the level two games, sometimes you got to hunt around for an event where they're going to feature those. So this is an opportunity if you like those level two games, or if you just want to play them to try to get your points through level two, you can do that. Also, don't forget about the top 15. In level one and level two, a lot of times people can play level two games, less competition sometimes than level one games, but there's some strategies there that I know people do. So level two games at McHenry Disc Dogs coming up soon. And then the last one there, Dre, I messed up. I said Freestyle Crown twice. I meant to have the Crown once and then Invitational.
Oh,
once.
the freestyle invitational. Yeah, that's a good point. It's already coming. Like it's coming up in
November.
it's in November, so it's not
Yeah.
really Octoberish, but it's right on the cusp there. So yeah, we have the freestyle invitational come up, which I mean that'll be cool.
And don't forget if you want to come down for the invitational to cheer on your friends, or maybe you're involved in the invitational, maybe you got an invite and you'd like to hang around for a week, you can do that and come to the Florida State Championships the following weekend. But we'll talk about that on What Up October
Yep.
or November. Yeah, that would be better. November.
Those of you doing the freestyle invitational that is coming up in 1 month, so just get your mind ready for that one. Lots of stuff moving and shaking for the final details of that, so we're really excited. That's our first one. First freestyle invitational.
Yep.
All right. Next up, Jack. You want to tell us about the next one?
Sure. So, I know this has been a topic multiple times on our podcast where people ask about vaulting vests. And anytime we get into a discussion about vaulting vests, DK vaulting vests always comes up because DK vaulting vests, they are out of business now, but they were a company that made incredibly durable, well fitted.
Indestructible.
Yeah, I mean, I still have mine from 20
I
years
still have mine from
and
20 years ago.
they made them to fit, like you sent in your measurements, and so
Okay.
like you didn't have like, oh, this one's too loose here or too tight here or whatever, unless you started like, packing on the pounds or,
Right.
working out in the gym or something and your dimensions change, but you could always then get another one. But anyways, they made great vests. And so since they've been gone, there's kind of been this void, and there are other vests, of course. Fairly Odd Dogs makes a great vest, and Czech Black makes a great vest, but
B and
still, they
Rom.
haven't been exactly the same as DK vests. So Mark Smith, who many of you guys know, he's always at UpDiff. He's playing, judging, helping out, and Mark has started Sundog vaulting vests, and his plan, his idea was he wanted to make a vest very similar to what the DK vaulting vest was, and
Mhm.
so he's sourced some of the same materials. He's doing the component where you do send in some measurements to help him make the design so that it fits very nice. I have seen pictures of the vests. I have not actually got one to wear yet, but I am planning on reaching out to Mark because I want to try one out and see what they're like. But he's got his website up now. He is looking for folks that would like to have another option out there for a vest, so check it out. He is also going to be a sponsor of the Freestyle Invitational, and the winner of the Freestyle Invitational will receive a cool Sundog vaulting vest that will be, of course, personalized to your measurements. So we're not going to be able to hand you the vest as you win the award, but you will be able to get with Mark after the event and get a vest made for you. So
Yep.
that's exciting that we have this back in the sport. And so connect with Mark if you're interested. Sundog vaulting vest. He posted about it on the discussion page, and he has a website up now that you can check out.
Yep. Man, I don't even know. Has it been like probably 10 years plus since DK they stopped making vests? That was
Yeah,
that was a long time ago. But really there was like nothing there was nothing in the sport that was even came close to the durability of those vests. So
yeah.
that's
And I always liked the mesh that they had on the
great
outside
for
of
grip
it.
for the dogs. Yeah.
Exactly. It seemed like they could dig in their claws a little bit and didn't hurt you, and they had good grip. And I know Mark has sourced that as well, so that is part of his design. So again, check it out, talk with Mark, see if maybe that's the right vest for you, or one of the right vests for you too. Sometimes it's nice to have options when you're playing.
Yeah. I have a bunch of vests. But I mean, for the most part, I really like using a DK style for like practice, dog shows, stuff like that, where it's like really heavy use, and then a lighter vest for competition if I need to wear it like under a shirt or something. So it is really nice to have options for vaulting vests, especially if organizations need you to wear their shirt on top. You might want something lighter or heavier for practice. So
Yep.
Who doesn't need more vests in their closet? Let's just get several different varieties and support all these great companies that are coming out with new ideas. All right, next one, borrowed dogs. This is a conversation that has been coming up since I started in the sport. And I suspect like the level of inflated, passionate replies has calmed significantly since I think when these conversations started, when like 20 years ago when I started in the sport, people get angry about borrowed dogs. They would get
Well,
angry about it. And now people, it's like so many people do it. I don't think that the people aren't angry about it anymore. But is it anyway? The question
well,
is it
I
cool?
I will tell you that this was on the Disc Dog discussion
Yeah.
page, and there were comments about Updog, there were comments about other organizations, and there were just general comments. There were like over 90 comments on this, so let's just say it hasn't slowed down that much, the conversation.
Yeah. So, many said that more people throwing for the dogs makes the dogs happier. So, like, the dogs get to play more. And we're here for happy dogs. Some people say it's not fair and it gives dogs multiple tries and some humans multiple tries, which, like, you have a talented dog or a talented human, they're going to get more reps, have more chance to win. Some people say it should only be allowed if there's some attachment to the human. Like, I don't know how we would even measure that. Like, okay, you can sign up, but you have to prove 10% ownership and investment. You have to play with the dog one time per week. And if you don't do that, you can't sign. So there's no way to really manage. Like, I mean, there's an interesting, some say they should have to be an official updog team.
Right.
That's fair.
I thought
Yeah.
that was interesting. Like, yeah, you can't just pull people, off the bench at a event and just have four people throw for your dog, unless those people are registered teams. So, like, if I wanted Dre to throw for Ferris, then Dre and Ferris would need to be a registered updog team.
Right. I
If
like
Ferris
that.
is not if Ferris is not Dre's dog, which yeah, that was kind of an interesting one.
Yeah, I like that one.
I've always, I don't know about you, but I've always felt like I never really wanted to throw for other people's dogs just
Yeah.
because I find playing with the dog I think is like a really cool like team bonding experience thing. And so I love doing it with my dogs. And it's not that I don't like other people's dogs. Of course I like people's dogs, but like I don't know, it just seems like a like you don't have that same connection.
Right.
And and this might be a whole nother topic, but I do feel like there are some games where you don't really need as strong of a connection. Like I could
For
hand
distance throwing.
right, I could hand Ferris or Remix off to you, Dre, and I'm sure you guys would fare really well in throw and go or far out.
Yep.
Start sending the dog running, and the disc shows up in front of them, and they catch it. But
I
I
could
think if
literally set you in front of Capiche. You never even need to meet her, and you could do that with her.
right, but I think if I gave you Ferris and you guys were supposed to play greedy together,
That would
I think he
he
might
would look
be
at you and go back to the tent, I think.
he he might be okay for the first throwing zone,
As soon as I
maybe.
start moving and he has to
But as
follow
soon
me.
as you start moving and stuff, he's going to be like, what's happening? Where are we going? Who are you?" Things break down. So there's definitely games that are more like team oriented that I think would be challenging. And I've just always felt like um, I I didn't want to play with somebody else's dog in a game like that unless for some reason they couldn't. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
um, like for years, I played with Jolene,
Yeah,
Babs's
Babs
dog,
is dogs, yeah.
because she loved playing freestyle. She loved doing the vaults and the flips and things like that. But Babs couldn't do that with her. So
Right.
I felt like that was fair for me to step in and do it. Plus, Jolene and I spent time together practicing and things like that.
Well,
Uh,
and the handler wasn't playing the dog, so it's
right.
like that's not even really the same example. I think what they're asking is more like for the purpose of having a talented handler or a talented dog trying to stack wins. I think
Yeah.
that would be the thing that more irritates people versus like somebody taking somebody's dog that isn't being played and giving it a fulfilling opportunity. Like nobody's going to feel crappy about that. But, like, so it's funny that we have this on the thing because we just came back from Skyhounds and I actually lost a podium because of a borrowed dog this
Yeah.
time. So like I wouldn't even like thought about it, but because that just happened last week, It was the last throw of the last round in the world championship of a person throwing to a borrowed dog, and I lost the podium from that last throw. And I was just like, it's not even our dog, And so I had that whole thing in my head is like a borrowed dog. This is my dog. So, I get that it definitely can create some feelings, I think, in the moment. If I look at it after the fact, it really like I agree with you that I think we're really just talking about distance games, like maybe pairs toss and fetch, and long distance, right? Like that, those
Yeah.
sorts of games. I think the rest of the games, it doesn't really make sense to play with a borrowed dog for any other type of strategy game, unless, again, like you were saying, like the handler doesn't play with the dog and they need something like that. You need some sort of relationship or communication to effectively play any of those games, um, unless you're helping someone, right? But for the borrowed dogs for the distance stuff, like,
I did see mentioning again at the Skyhounds, they do pairs DA, which essentially is like pairs throw and go.
yeah,
And I did think to myself, I wonder if like, we've never had pairs throw and go as a official UpDiff game where you would win like a big international trophy. But if
right,
we did, based on what I saw at Skyhounds, I'm wondering if we would limit how many teams a dog could play for. Because
yeah.
there was a few really talented dogs
That ran
that
a
were essentially
lot
like
all
playing with
day.
like a ton of teams. So it would be Jack, Dre, and Ferris, Jack, Cat, and Ferris,
Yeah.
Jack, Jason, and Ferris, Jack,
Yeah.
blah, 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 and Ferris. And it's like, well, come on. Like,
Yeah.
there needs to be like, some
Well, we
limit,
have
I
a
think.
cap. We have a cap of how many times a dog can run per day. And I just, I don't think other organizations, um, well, I mean, the other organizations, you can only sign the dog up. I guess people game based, right? It's really just us and the Skyhounds that have game based play, like the non-freestyle and toss and fetch games, right? So we limit how many rounds a dog can play in a day, and I think that kind of solves that issue. But yeah, there were some dogs, especially in this dogathon, where they were being passed around quite a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was
But
an
how do you feel about
interesting.
it?
Well, I think that if Updog were to have like a pairs game like that for UpDiff, I don't know. I'd be a team member that would bring up the point and say I think we should limit the amount of teams that that dog could be a part of
Yeah.
at UpDiff, not locals or anything, but like at the international finals, like I don't know, I feel like you'd have to pick your top two teams or something. Because I do think it's kind of
Cat
disheartening.
have a thought? Does Cat have
Oh,
a thought
oh,
behind you?
Kat, do you have a
Still have
thought
the
on
hand come up
this?
over your shoulder. Cat, that was great. It was like,
Um, Not in relation to pairs, but in relation to long distance, specifically far out. We this past year at UpDiff, were very borderline of having one person, multiple people, but I'm saying an individual handler play with too many dogs, and that it became a scheduling problem. So I am probably going to talk to the team about limiting how many runs a person can have in one day to help alleviate that problem.
right,
Because there were some people that were playing, I don't remember how many, we'll say, 7 or 8 times and far out. And then they were also playing boom. And it's like, there's only so many hours in the day. And
right.
these dogs are playing for other people, and it becomes a scheduling nightmare. We don't need to be holding up the rest of the competition because people have 20,000 dogs that they're playing with. So just a heads up that something, those people who play with 1,000 dogs and far out may have to make some choices this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was when we first put in the round limits, I remember that was kind of a shock for people because there wasn't a limit before, and so it was like 10, what was it? Was it 10 rounds a handler could play in a day or whatever?
Oh, it's a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
so I
dog
was
can
just
only be 10.
I was just wondering if there's a handler limit.
There's not, but I'm talking about or thinking about implementing one at UpDiff. Because again,
Even
if
if
you're
somebody
only
had
playing
like
for
that could be
8 hours,
tricky because if somebody has 5 dogs, a 10 round limit is means they can only play 2 games with each dog.
Well, at Uptiff, you're only playing 2 or 3 games per day anyway. So, yeah, if you've got 5 dogs, maybe you play, and I don't know that it's
No,
10.
that solves the problem because it's only 2 games per day anyway. You're right.
Well, it's, yeah, 2 to 3 games per day. So, I mean, it still should work. People have
I've
been
played
playing
5 dogs
five
before at a
dogs.
world championship, and that's enough. Like
Yeah,
5 is a lot to manage and play and warm up and make sure they're, hydrated and stretched and managed, cooled off properly. And that's part of it too, is the dog safety issue. We don't want to get into a scenario where people are so rushed around that they're not taking proper care of the dogs to warm them up and cool them
right.
off, all
Yeah,
that.
and like sometimes the person throwing far out, maybe they're throwing for, 7 or 8 dogs, but one of those dogs belongs to a handler who's playing 5 or 6 dogs
Yeah.
everywhere else, and it's just it becomes very complicated.
I'm glad that's not my job.
Yeah. Yeah. I had thought about it the year before, as it because it presented a problem with some handlers that played so many of their own dogs. But I didn't do anything about it. I'm like, we'll just see how it shakes out. Then this year it became a problem with several people playing a lot of far out dogs and dogs who are playing in the other game, and it was like literally that person was going every fifth dog, and they can't get there and get back in time, so they're
Right.
gonna slowing down the
So there's
process.
delays and it changes the schedule and
Right.
all.
So I don't know what that number is. I have to go back and look at, who my problem people were last year to kind of come up with the number.
Problem people.
But anyway, that's a possibility. So just a heads up for those
Yeah,
who
it's interesting.
you may have to
Very
put.
interesting. All right, Jack, we have one more hot topic.
We
Thanks.
do.
Boop, back behind your Jack wall.
Yep.
All right, so our final topic that I grabbed that I thought was an interesting discussion piece, there was a lot of comments on this one as well. Somebody basically was just simply saying, hey, I'm not in the best of shape, but I really want to play disc with my dog. How can I get started where I'm not going to be letting my dog down? And what should I do to, be ready for what can I do to get in shape so that I'm ready to play with my dog? And this is, I think that ourselves as humans and our dogs, we're all in various states of being in shape or out of shape, whatever our definition for that is, too. And I know there's sometimes when I've felt that I was able to keep up with my dog and perform well for my dog. And there's been times when I felt like I didn't.
Yeah.
And sometimes that could be anything from I hadn't been working out and my grip I have problems with my wrists, and if I don't do my exercises and don't work out and things, then my grip is not what it needs to be, and I can't throw to the 40 yard, and I let my dog down. Like that's just one example. There's
Right.
times when I haven't gotten enough sleep and I show up at the competition and I have a bad freestyle round or something, and I basically am like, that was my fault. My head wasn't in it. I wasn't in the right space. I didn't get enough sleep last night or whatever. So we have like all of these things that impact our health. And so when we're thinking about this person was just getting started in the game.
Mhm.
And so I think my first question to you about this, Dre, is because I always think of you as my health and fitness guru. But like, what should be the first thing that people start thinking about if like perhaps they're not in the best of shape, but they want to become more active and start playing disc with their dog, and maybe not just throw and go where I stand on one side of the field, but I want to get a little bit more active. Like, what are some steps we could take?
It's a good question. And I would say my coach tells me that the way that elite athletes train is in zone 2 cardio, which means less than 115 beats per minute, which is not high heart rate. So, what I would recommend for someone that wants to get out on the field and be able to play up dog games or just dogathon games is in the morning when you wake up, if you can, in the morning, for when there's sunlight, first thing in the morning, is take a 20-minute walk where your heartbeat is under 115 beats per minute. And you can find that on your Apple Watch or on Garmin Watch. There's all sorts of tools or inexpensive ways to track your heart rate, but it's important that your heart rate stays at 115 beats per minute or less for it to be in zone two. And just do that for 20 minutes a day, as many days as you can. That'd be the first thing I would do. That primes your system and your cardiovascular system and your pulmonary system to be more functional, and you'll be able to move around without losing breath, and then you won't have the dizzy feeling or the unsettled feeling, and then you'll have the adrenaline come out because you feel dizzy and unsettled and people are looking at you. So if you just have more confidence being able to exert energy without losing the energy at the end, a 20-minute zone two cardio walk will work for that. Um, and
Okay,
then the other thing
that's
would be,
interesting because I always feel like, whenever I hop on the treadmill, I'm always trying to elevate my heart rate. But it sounds like, at least to start with, I really don't need to. I just get on there,
yeah.
take a normal walk, keep my heart rate under, what was it, 105,
115. Yeah, so
115?
basically you're gonna get more fit. Like so maybe when you're starting, it's a pretty kind of slow walk at to keep you under 115. Right before finals, I was at a jog walk, jog walk, jog walk to keep me there. But once finals start, I stop training and I just focus on my disc dog training. So now that I haven't been doing my 20-minute walks, when I go back, I'm probably just gonna be walking. And I'm just going to walk for 20 minutes. Maybe some days it's 45 minutes, depending on how nice the view is or whatever. But it's at least 20 minutes, maybe 20 to 45-minute walk where you're consistently walking and you're keeping your heart rate in zone two. So that just it's just really good for your cardiovascular health, and it doesn't put too much stress on your joints. For people over 40, weightlifting is really important. It's like any type of muscle strength conditioning, we lose a percentage of our body muscle just by aging every year, and it gets harder and harder to get it back every year. So if there's any weightlifting that you can do at all, even if it's like with a gallon of water, just picking up from the ground, push it up over your head, that type of stuff. And mobility that will allow you to pick up discs off the ground. So anything that'll help you work on um, sitting on the ground to being able to get up, or bending over to pick up discs and feeling confident that you're not going to tweak something or blow something. So I like dog squats for stuff like that, or just seating to a chair, doing a chair squats, sit down to a chair, and then try to stand up in the chair without kipping forward. And maybe do 10 of those a day. So like really basic movements. None of it has to be super explosive, but it's just about confidence and mobility, where your balance is good and your basic cardiovascular health is well enough so that you're not panicking when you're out there. Because the panicking and the adrenaline adds a whole nother level of potential for injury.
And just as you're talking, and I'm thinking of the games themselves, maybe some games to start with might be the one, like, maybe don't start with
Not
greedy.
greedy. Don't start with greedy. I mean, I would say I love starting people with four-way play because you can walk around the whole sweet spot if you want. You can just do a circle pattern and just start in walking in a small circle, have the dog bring the disc more to you, and as you get more comfortable, then you can start different patterns, a Z pattern, or you can, maybe you start moving in more of that clover pattern that people do when they get their dog running the circle pattern but bringing the disc in. And then you're kind of bursting out to pick up a disc and coming back, bursting out to pick up a disc and coming back. All those things are like drills you would do in fitness, like where you would run up and touch the floor, shuttle runs. Is it shuttle runs, right? Where you run to the side, touch the floor, run to the side, touch the floor. Those are great kind of drills because we're going to be rushing up to a disc, bending over, picking it up, and then rushing again. And so shuttle runs and I don't want to start somebody with shuttle runs. Like if you're starting right out of the gate, you don't want to start with,
Let's
aggressive chest.
go.
But these are all kind of movements that people do in the gym that directly translate to disc dog. So if you wanted a way to kind of improve how you feel when you pick up discs on the ground, then if you're not ready for shuttle runs, maybe you could just walk it, like walk to the side, bend over, pick up a disc, walk to the side, bend over, pick up a disc, and see how quickly you can get 5 discs in a period of time, and then work on increasing the speed that you can do that.
You just gave me back memories of, like, when I was in junior high, I was on the basketball team, and we would have to run those sprints where we would
Gym.
run out, touch the first line, run back,
Yes.
touch the out of bounds lines again, then go
Yes.
to half court, do it, then go to three-quarters
Yeah.
court.
We
And
use them a
like,
lot in CrossFit. It
and
was
if you were
yeah.
one of the last five people to finish, then you had to do it again while everybody watched. I'm
Oh, so
like,
this is about trauma. That's what it's about. I get it,
yeah.
Jack.
Luckily, I was not ever in the last five,
You're
but I
not.
always felt a little bit of pity and sorrow for those that were. I'm like, they already can't do it, and now you're making them do it again in front of everybody. Anyways,
You're so compassionate, even at a young age. That's really nice, Jack. Yeah, so those are some of my tips. I would say, and before any of the exercise stuff, like the most important thing that you can do is sleep, good hydration, and good nutrition. Number one. So you can go out and walk all day long, but if you're eating McDonald's and fried food and you were up late last night and you didn't get sufficient sleep and all you're drinking is diet soda and alcohol, you're not going to feel good. You're not going to feel athletic. You're not going to increase your cardiovascular fitness doing that stuff. So
yeah.
food, water, and sleep are primary, and then I would go into and anytime I get run down, it's the same thing. I stop all exertion stuff and I just focus on getting as much sleep as I can, eating as much clean food as I can, and hydrating.
And I can tell you that at this past World Finals events, one night before I was going to have a bunch of freestyle rounds next day,
Yeah, I
I was
remember you.
out to dinner. I really wanted to have a couple pops, and by pops I mean alcoholic beverages.
Oh,
Um, and
get up.
and so one of the people that I was with was like, "Are you sure that that's what you really want to do? Like, don't you have a lot of freestyle runs
You have a
tomorrow?"
good friend around, don't you?
I was like, yeah, that's true. All right. So I held off and then I waited until Sunday night when everything was over and then I
Had
was able to
pops.
enjoy a couple pops.
Yeah, and
So,
I made an egregious error because I know better, and I went out to dinner on Friday night for a birthday dinner, knowing I had to compete on Saturday, and I ate whatever I wanted. And I paid for it Saturday morning, and I was like, "Why did I do that?" I was like so stupid. It was worth it at the time, right? But I should have done it before a big day like Saturday, because Saturday, what? Very hot,
yeah.
right? So I needed extra hydration anyway, and then my body was trying to flush out the gluten. I don't really drink alcohol, so that wasn't really a problem for me. But if I eat a lot of gluten or a lot of dairy before something, that has the same effect on me as alcohol, right? I'm going to get inflammation in my body, and I'm going to feel like crap the next day. So that's a great thing to pay attention to how you prepare yourself. How did we even get? Oh, that's the last one of our topics. I'm like, how did we even get to talking about this in our What's Up episode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to be cautious and make sure like I think that Dre and I have shared some good things that have helped us in
I
our
am not a
experience.
certified nutritionist. I am not a certified training coach. This is all information that either I get from my coaches or my own personal anecdotal experience in fitness and wellness and health. Please do not take any of our advice in place of a doctor or a medical professional at all.
Absolutely. If you are just starting out, you need to talk to your doctor, make sure that they're cool with all the things that you want to do. And honestly, same thing with your dog. If you haven't started your dog in this sport, make sure that your vet is cool with it and that your dog is healthy enough to start playing these games.
Yep.
All right, Dre, I have some far out facts, by the way,
I
related
love
to
far
our
out facts.
final topic. I thought it was really interesting. Some of just, like I love how like everybody is always like science, man, you can't argue with science. It's the science. And it's like, dude, do you not realize that science evolves? Like things that we think that we knew that were proven by science are constantly disproven or maybe they're added to and we learn some new things and we get even better just looking at the fitness crazes over the years are hilarious. And
And
some
I
of the
can relate
ways,
to the ones in my lifetime, like in my childhood, and these are making me crack up because my mom was totally into these when I was a kid.
like you get somebody who's like a fitness guru or like, a doctor or sometimes even the government telling you this is what you should eat or this is what you should do for exercise. And then you find out later, well, that was horrible
That was
advice.
terrible. Yeah, that was a terrible.
Um, So I thought these were kind of funny, and we could go through them real quick. Like we don't have to go in depth, Dre, but like so let's start. This is fitness through the decades, starting in the 1940s, which I know for many of you, you didn't even know that the world was around in the 1940s, but
This reminds me of those ads that we see of the women in the 1940s in the gym with the heels on, where there's like 8 women with heels on. It's in the magazine cover trying to sell the gym. It's hysterical.
all right. So in the 40s, what were we doing to stay in shape, Dre?
Oh, sorry, my dogs are barking. In the 40s, they were doing stretching and jumping jacks. So they were saying, because of the military, jumping jacks were adopted by the army because of the low level of fitness amongst the drafted soldiers. So people were not super fit in the 40s. And so they thought that jumping jacks and toe stretches were thought of what was going to keep bodies toned and in shape, toe
Yeah.
stretches and jumping jacks.
Well, I remember in the 70s when I was in elementary school, we still had to do jumping jacks. So those
They still
stuck
do
around
it.
for
They're still there.
quite a while.
Yeah, they're
So in
still
the
there.
50s, this one, boy, I can just see you just get really fit. The hula hoop was
Yeah.
a trend that caught fire in America in the 50s. 400,000 hula hoops were sold by 1957, and this was meant as a great full body workout. Um, Also, it can really mess up your neck and back.
Oh,
But, whatever.
yeah, it's funny. I just imagined if they brought hula hoops in the military, and then I just imagined a bunch of military dudes like hula hooping for fitness, jumping jacks and hula hooping. So I remember I had a hula hoop when I was a kid, but I was never really great at it. All right, 1960s, the vibrating belt. I think I've seen evidence of this somewhere. I've seen it, videos of it. Um, you could jiggle away unwanted fat in the 60s just by just shaking. And there's a shake belt thing now, isn't there?
I don't
There's
know.
something, there's like a platform you stand on and it just shakes you, and it's supposed to make you burn calories because you're like
I
your
feel like that
muscles
would
are.
not be good for my back as well.
Anyway, vibrating belt. The machine originally gained popularity in the early 1900s, but it had a big comeback in the 60s. You would loop a big belt around any area problems, my belly, your butt, thighs, turn it on, and bam, your fat would magically melt off. The vibrations were supposed to mimic a massage. At the time, massages were believed to cure fatigue, remove toxins, increase muscle tone, and improve circulation. And they do, by the way, all those things. No sweat, no problem, except that it did not really work. They very, very quickly figured out nobody was losing weight, and then they
All
quit
right.
playing with
In
it.
this in the 70s, a new trend, you guys probably have heard of this, jazzercise,
Yes.
a high intensity form of exercise, which is still practiced today, although not as much, but it's a mix of jazz dance, ballet, Pilates, yoga, and kickboxing. And the routines were usually set to music or a popular song of the instructor's choice. I'm sure we've all seen like this on like a sitcom or whatever where the mom goes to jazzercise class or something
This
like
was my
that.
whole childhood, Jack.
Yeah.
My mom was the jazzercise mom.
There you
I,
go.
as a child, I spent every weekday running around a park amok, like when you used to just let children run amok in parks while my mom was in jazzercise class. That's what I remember about my childhood. I was on crutches. I like broke something. I was like running around on my bike, on roller skates. My mom's in jazzercise. So jazzercise was a big part of my childhood. I don't think I've ever been to a jazzercise class though, like as an adult. I don't think I've ever done one. You ever done a jazzercise class, Jack?
What do you think?
No. I would think that's a no. All right, 1980s, aerobics sprung off as a spin-off of jazzercise. While the two exercises are similar, aerobics is less dancey. It was originally invented in the 60s, but it was not put on the map until Jane Fonda came out with a book and aerobics work tapes. Do you remember those? I remember those.
I do.
Yeah. The dance moves used were mixed in with fitness movements like elevating knees or marching in place. Aerobics became a workout empire and inspired many different spin-offs, such as water aerobics and step aerobics, which is basically the foundation for HIIT training. High interval training really was like aerobics.
Wasn't that wasn't that what Richard Simmons was doing?
Yeah. Yep.
Like sweating to the oldies?
Yes. With his poofy hair.
All
Oh,
right.
the next one's great. I forgot about that.
In the 90s, karate master Billy Banks took over the fitness world. He created Taibo, a high intensity cardio workout combining martial arts, boxing, dancing, and hip hop
Yep.
beats. At the height of its popularity, over 500 million Taibo videos were sold. That's crazy. Like in
Yeah.
the 90s, that's how, yeah, that's how you got your video content too, was like videotapes.
Yep. CD,
And
DVD, you could buy them.
I remember in Blockbuster you could rent them. They had like a whole section for like Taibo and like, different
Yep.
exercise videos that you could rent.
And you
That's
would rent for the week and then do that exercise and then swap out the video and then you'd have different exercises the next week.
Yep, that's a throwback right there. I didn't remember
Crazy.
Taibo until I saw it.
I totally forgot about that. 1990s spinning. I never got into that. So Johnny Goldberg was a cyclist and personal trainer from South Africa who moved to the United States. And one night he was riding his bike and almost got hit by a passing car. So that almost being hit by a passing car gave him the idea to move cycling indoors, where he's less likely to get hit on by cars. He began teaching spinning classes in 1990, and it was the beginning of a workout revolution. It's still a huge, huge thing. With the addition of upbeat music, Soul Cycle was born. Fast forward to modern day, where spinning classes can be found in almost every gym.
Yeah.
He got hit by a car, and that made him think about it, right? Talk about a potato chip. Man, made a multi-billion dollar industry out of getting hit by a car.
All right, I remember this one by name. I don't remember what it was really about, but I remember when I first started teaching, at the end of the day at the school that I was at, the teachers would go to Zumba class and they kept inviting me to Zumba class. Jack, don't you want to go to Zumba class? I'm like, not really. Um, but apparently, Zumba emerged as a Latin-inspired workout. The fitness style mixes salsa, tango, and flamenco dance styles to upbeat Latin music. And Zumba classes can be found in most gyms, even still today.
Yep. I've never done Zumba either, but that sounds fun.
Yep.
The next one I have done, 2010s. That's a funny way to say it. The 2010s, CrossFit was born. So CrossFit, it was born by Greg Glassman, and he was a gymnast who wanted to get stronger. And CrossFit focuses on conquering obstacles and training the whole body. It's a mixture of gymnastics, weightlifting, pull-ups, and calisthenics. The first CrossFit gym originated in Santa Cruz, California, and now there's thousands of them all around the country. And there's even athletic competitions, CrossFit Open, which there's a lot of drama around that. But the CrossFit Games and the Swamp Challenge. So there's really fun CrossFit stuff still going on. I did it for about 7 years, 7 or 8 years. I don't CrossFit anymore, but it was fun.
All right. This takes us to today, and apparently I honestly have not even heard of this, but I'm sure Dre has. 2020s, that's right now. HIIT stands for high intensity interval training.
Yeah.
Um, this type of exercise has been popular for years, but apparently it really took off during COVID since gyms shut down for a short amount of time and people needed to figure out how to get their workouts done at home. Most of the time it doesn't call for any extra weights or equipment. Um, a lot of HIIT workouts have become available online for free, and it also makes it a very affordable way to
Yep.
work out. So, Dre, what do you want to add to the HIIT training? Because you're like nodding your head and also in shock that I've never heard of this.
Oh, well, I mentioned it earlier. It's mostly what we did a lot of that in CrossFit. It's just intervals, like run 100 yards and then do 10 air squats and then do 10 push-ups and then do 10 sit-ups and then start over again. So it's just like a cycle of little movements, a series of different movements in a pattern, and it'll either be set to time, like, okay, do as many rounds as you can in 20 minutes, or it'll be however many rounds, like do 10 of this, 10 rounds of this. So I love interval training. It's my favorite type of workout because I don't like endurance work. I don't like having to do the same thing and suffer for like hours, like running. Like, okay, run a mile. Okay, that's 10 minutes of suffering where I'm just gonna the whole time want that 10 minutes to be over. But if it was a hit training and it was run a 200 meter or a 400 meter, that only takes 2 minutes, right? And then that 2 minutes, then I can look forward to the next exercise, which isn't running. And I'll still get the mile done, but I'll get it done in 200-meter chunks. So I like interval training a lot.
So for people that have short attention spans, which
Yes.
I'm one of those people, that would be a good program to do then.
Yeah, and you could do that stuff at home. Like I haven't picked up a weight in months. Because you could, push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, air squats is enough body weight to be able to keep you fit. You do enough of those things, you'll be fit.
All
No,
right. Well, this concludes our podcast on pumping you up.
I'm gonna pump you up. That's pretty
Hopefully
good.
you enjoyed our far out facts and we didn't go down the rabbit hole too much for you. We will be back next week with another episode that is not a What Up episode.
Right.
And make sure you check out those local events. We hope that you get to a field soon and play some up dog. In the meantime,
Be kind to each other.
and be kind to your animals. See you next time on the Sweet Spot.
Later.
Problem people.